La 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 ya la 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 Shabbat shalom, just sing yai lai lai, yai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai. Lie, 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 lie. One more time with feeling. Lie, 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 lie. Ya la lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, lie, lie. Ya la lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Ya la 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 la. I'm gonna give it one more shot, really loud. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Breath that is not, if we don't have it, it's not good. So let's just really concentrate on that. 2 words, first of all, Elohai Neshama. We're gonna turn to page 99. First, just these 2 words first, and then we'll go into the prayer. Elohai Neshama, really breathe it. Elohai Neshama, one more time. Elohai Neshama. Elohai Neshama. Elohai, Elohai Neshama. Shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai Neshama. Shenatata bi te Neshama. We're going to turn to page 141, Psalm 150, and I'm going to invite you to find a harmony, go for it, and just have fun. Hallelujah, Bekocho, Hallelujah, Birkia Uzo, Hallelujah, Vigvurotav, Hallelujah, Kerov of good love. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Vaya Adonai Yimloch Leolam Vaed Adonai Yimloch Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Those of you in live stream, I don't know if you could hear it, but the music that was in the sanctuary just this moment was glorious and beautiful. So I hope you were singing it. I hope you were feeling it. And for those who have a need or desire to say Kaddish, I want to invite you to turn to page 121 as we join together in Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yerute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mavarach le'olam alomei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh. V'yit hadar v'yit alev v'yit halal shemei dekudisha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
You may be seated.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. So nice to see those of you who are here. And those of you that are out there, so nice to see you as well. We're watching you. All right, so whether you're in your pajamas, wherever, whatever you're doing, hopefully you're not doing other emails. That's the one thing. You know, by the way, when I am at home, and if I have a Shabbat off, I watch services here, which I love doing. Also love watching other synagogues as well. So one time you can attend services like in 3 different places simultaneously, right? And to find out for me in terms of what's happening around the city, around the country as well. Shacharit, the morning service. So, by the way, from Shachar, right, the morning in terms of the rising of the sun. And it's interesting if you think about today, in the Torah reading, we talk about the commands of the tabernacle. And later on, we'll look at it. If you want to look at the design, by the way, it's in the back of the Chumash itself on page 1520. And the Holy of Holies, though, is actually on the west side of the tabernacle. Right, facing west, and the opening of the tabernacle is on the east, which is interesting, right? But we're used to in the Jewish tradition praying which direction? East. Now, the rabbis tell us that we are doing it to face towards Jerusalem, towards the Temple Mount itself. By the way, that tradition probably came up a little bit later, probably evolved. Why would you think, by the way, in the ancient world, I'm going to talk today a little bit about pantheism, talk about nature, about worship. And why do you think that there was a tendency in the ancient world to pray towards the east? Because the rising sun, right? The beginning of life, if you will. And that's what the tendency is. By the way, here, facing on the west, might have been if you will, an anti-paganistic statement. Right, that we're on a different side than you. But later on, it's interesting. We kind of, in the prayer itself, continue this Eastern tradition. There's lots of reasons why, perhaps. But the idea of feeling the presence of that rising sun and feeling the presence somehow of life and energy itself. That was inspirational. That's why one of the first blessings here is about the rising sun and acknowledging that. We're going to begin the Shachrit service. You're going to find page 147.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai, join with me. Yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai lai lai, lai lai lai, lai lai lai. Shochenat maharom v'kadosh shemo. Shochenat maharom v'kadosh V'chatuv ranenu tzadikim b'Adonai lahayesharim nava Shochenat maharom v'kadosh shemo. Shochenat maharom v'kadosh shemo. Befi yisharim t'ilah titala uvdivrei tzadikim titbarach titbarach yai lai lai yai lai 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 Yai lai lai, umachalot revivot amchabed Yisrael. Shira v'tishbachot David ben Ishai Yishtabach shimcha la'ad malkei Adonai niflaot habocher b'shirei zimra melech el ha'olamim.
We continue on page 148 for the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabam be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'mechon ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמירה במבורך, לעלם לעד ועלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו Amen. We rise now for the Baruch Hu on page 149. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai Havevo.
All right, our turn now. Here we go. Read that.
Baruch Adonai Hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 ya 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 la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer or uborei choshech Oseh shalom uborei et hakol Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. You may be seated. We turn to page 151 for El Adon. So this is a melody that is sung by the Lemba tribe in Zimbabwe, written by Hamlet Zoo is his name. So it goes like this. El Adon kol hamasim baruch u'mvorach b'fi kol neshama godlo v'tuvo male olam dat u'tvuna sovavim oto המתגאה על חיות הקודש ונדר וכבוד על המרכבה זכות ומישור לפני חיסו חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו יצרם בדעת בבינה ובהשכל כוח וגבורה נעצם בהם להיות מושלים בקרב תבל מלאים זיו ומפיקים נוגה נעזיבם בכל העולם שמחים בצאתם וששים בבוא עושים ואימה רצון כהונם באר וכבוד נותנים לשמו צלב ורינה לזכר מלכותו קרא לשמש ויזרח אור ראה והתקין צורת הלבנה שבח נותנים לו כל צבא מרום תפארת וגדולה שרפים ויופנים וחיות הקודש. We continue in that new mode, the Ahava Rabbah mode on the bottom of page 153 for Or Chadash. Die, 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 ya da 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 die, 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 da 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 die, 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 ya da 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 die, 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 da 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 die. Or Chadash al Zion ta'ir v'yizkechu lanu me'ira le'oro. Or Chadash al Zion ta'ir v'yizkechu lanu me'ira le'oro. Or Chadash al Zion ta'ir v'yizkechu lanu me'ira le'oro. Or Chadash al Zion ta'ir v'yizkechu lanu me'ira le'oro. Ay, day, day, da, 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 day. Ay, day, day, da, 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 da. Ay, day, day, ay, da, 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 day. Ay, day, day, da, 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 da. Baruch Ata Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot. We continue now for the prayer, the final blessing leading up to the Shema Ahava Rabbah. Page 154. Ahava Rabbah ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chem לגדולה ויתרה עמלת עלינו אהבינו מלכנו בעבור אבותינו שבטחו בך אבינו מלכנו ותלמדם חוקי חיים כן תכוננו תלמדנו אבינו האב הרחמן רחם עלינו ותן בליבנו להבין ולהשכיל לשמוע ללמוד וללמד לשמור ולעשות ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה והארנו בתורתך ודבק לבנו במצוותיך ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך ולא נבוש לעולם ועד ולא נבוש לעולם ועד קודשך הגדול הנורא בתחתון נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך.
And so at this point in the service, as we anticipate the recitation of the Shema, that we bring together the Arba Kanfot, the four corners, the rabbis who love to find, cues in the prayers themselves, take where it says, "V'avienu l'shalom me'arba kanfot ha'aretz," bring us from the four corners of the world. And that became, as they did through prayer, try to give us cues about what we're doing and anticipating. We've talked before, many of us, you understand the idea of this representing the mitzvot and bringing them together. Jews around the four corners of the world, that we come together as well. I also think there's an element of, as we focus on the oneness of God, that, the world seems often disparate, right? That even the ancient world that would worship many different gods, in fact, that there's a unity of life, and we bring those elements together as we continue V'havienu.
V'havienu l'shalom be'arba kanfot haaretz v'tolichenu komemiut le'arseinu ki el poel yeshuotata ubanu v'charta mikol am belashon v'keratanu l'shimcha hagadol l'shimcha hagadol sela ve'emet lehodot lecha ולייחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue silently. We continue at the second paragraph together. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, ve'amarta aleihem, ve'asu lahem tzitzit, al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam, ve'natnu al tzitzit הכנף בטיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וריתם אותו, ושררתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תצורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. We turn to page 157 with the word emet, meaning truth, that we declare in every generation, Lador Vador, that these words of the Shema are true. And we turn, then we'll daven while we do a nigun. Some will daven, some will sing. And then we'll go to Micha Mocha on 158. You got it? There'll be a test after that. So we start on page 157 at the red arrow. Ledor vador, hu kayam, hu shemo kayam, v'chiso nachon, u'malchuto b'emunato, la'ad kayamet. Ledor vador, hu kayam, hu shemo kayam, v'chiso nachon, malchuto ve'emunato la'ad kayamet. Dor vador, ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, השיר החדשה, שבחו גאולים, אספת הים, יחד כולם, הודו והמלכו, ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. די 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 די, יא די 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 די. We continue 158. We rise because the third word is kuma. Sur Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, ufedechenu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go aleinu Adonai tzvot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, God Yisrael.
Page 159, we join together for the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei הנורא אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעם אדוני, מחיי ביתי אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, בחיי ביתי ברחמים רבים, סובב נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי המתים. מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מעלות. ככתוב על יד נביאך, וככה זה אל זה, ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, מתנסים לאומת צרפים, מתנסים לאומת צרפים, מתנסים לאומת צרפים, לאומתם ברוך יומם. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומך מלכנו, תופיע ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך? תמלוך בציון, בקרוב בימינו, לעולם ועד, לעולם ועד תשכון. תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, ולנצח נצחים. בעינינו תראנה, תראנה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך. בעינינו תראנה, תראנה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך. Al Yedei
Al Yedei
David,
David,
Al Yedei
Al Yedei
David,
David,
Al Yedei
Al Yedei
David,
David,
Mashiach Tzidkecha, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Zion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah, Ledor vador, Nagid godlecha, Ulenetzach netzachim, Kedushatcha nakdish, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Our prayers continue silently, Hebrew or English. We prefer the private prayers and meditations of your heart.
Page 165. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Barchinu avinu kulanu ke'echad v'nechad ki v'yor panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu. Ay, 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 sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Torat chaim ve'ahavat chesed u'tzedakah v'racha v'chachamim v'chaim v'shalom. Ay, 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 sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה b'shleimecha.
Ay, 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 ay.
שים שלום טובה וברכה, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ועל כל ישראל עמך.
Page 167, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ועמד דברי חירותי, והמליך מלכותי בחייכון ובמכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בהגנה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך.
לעלם
לעלמי עלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ותשמע ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל שמי לקודשה.
ברכו.
לעילה מן כה בכתב ושירתה תשבחת ונחמתה תאמרן בעלמה ואמרו
אמן.
תתקבל צלותון ובודהון לכל בית ישראל קודום ובודי שמיה ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים ליל וכל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Seder Hotzat HaTorah, the Torah service, you'll find page 168. And Elners, you're going to come. If you want to bring prayer books with you too, you can, like that way you can follow along if you want. They got prayer books, or you can just come up, whatever you'd like to do. We're going to rise together in anticipation of the opening of the ark.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, v'ein kemasecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom, av harachamim, heitiv avirtzoncha et Zion, tivnech omot Yerushalayim, tivnech omot Yerushalayim, kivecha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa adon olamim. Vayehi bin soa ha'aron, vayomer Moshe, kuma Adonai, v'yafutzu oivecha, v'yanusu misanecha, mipanecha, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael bikedushato.
Page 169 on the right-hand side, third reading down, entitled A Prayer for One's Personal Journey. Let's join together in this reading. Open my eyes, God. Help me to perceive what I have ignored, to uncover what I have forsaken, to find what I have been searching for. Remind me that I don't have to journey far to discover something new, for miracles surround me, blessings and holiness abound, and you are near. We continue page 170, Be'an Arachetz.
Be anarachet, v'lishme kadisha, kadisha yakira, ana emar, tushbechan, yera, Be'anarachetz Felishme Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana Emar Tushbechan V'tashli Mishalin Delibi Veliba Dechol Amak Yisrael Be'anarachet Felishme Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana Emar Tushbechan Letavu Chayin Velishlam Amen. Be'anarachet Felishme Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana Emar Tushbechan Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadol Adonai Tiune Romema Shemo Yachtav Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki Chov HaShamayim Uvaretz Ki Chov HaShamayim Uvaretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha V'Amit Naseh Lechol Rosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Lehadom Raglav Kadoshu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Lehar Kodsho Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
All right, you may be seated if you're not, or just keep doing whatever you're doing. And those of you at home, whatever position you're in, just stay there, I guess. The Torah reading, we're going to be reading from the portion of Truma. By the way, you'll know in terms of future Torah readings, Bob, you'll know this as well, that we have a leap year this year. And so often some of the Parshiot, Vayakel, Pekudei, others that are combined are not this year because we have that extra month, right? Were we not to add the month of Adar, which we do Adar Bet next month, then not only would Passover fall before springtime, but Hanukkah would fall before Thanksgiving, and that's just not acceptable according to the rabbis. The Torah reading of Truma, we finished receiving the legal and if you will, the spiritual code, and now it's going to turn towards the cultic practices of the people. It's going to turn towards the descriptions and the commandment about the tabernacle, the Mishkan, and about eventually the priestly vestments. We'll talk about that next week. But you're going to be able to follow along our Torah reading. We're in the third triennial cycle. Is that correct, Chazan Mimi? We're in cycle 3, as we do. Every year it's like a different part, and after 3 years, we've finished each parasha itself. By the way, if you don't know, some of them are actually repeated, some sections. It doesn't mean we read like exactly 1/3, but sometimes it'll overlap. Like 10 Commandments is read 2 out of the 3 years, I believe, in each of the cycles. But we're going to, and if you're at home, by the way, it's page 495 in the Chumash that we use, the time. And if you're just looking at any text at home, you can find it Exodus chapter 26, beginning verse 31. Rick Schillender, you're waiting so patiently. You're going to be reading. You're going to come up. And if you've been honored, right, Torah readers come from over there. If we have your name, Chazan, you have some of those names, right? You'll be able to call them. If we don't have your name, you'll just come in front of the microphone here in front of the Torah, and you'll be able to share with all of us your Hebrew name.
ויעזור ויגן ויושיב וחוסים בו ונאמר אמן. הכוכב הוא גודל אלוהינו תנו כבוד לתורה. יעמדו יוגב סנדר בן אברהם ושרה ולקה מרים בת חיים ראובן וריבה. ראשון ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. ואתם ואתם הדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם חיים כולכם היום.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Ve'asita farochet techelet fargaman ve'tola'at shani ve'shesh moshzar ma'aseh choshev va'aseh ota keruvim ve'natata ota al-arba'a hamudei shitim metzipim zahav vavehem zahav al-arba'a adnei kasef venatata haparochet tachat rasim vehevata shama מבית לפרוכת את ארון העדות והבדילה הפרוכת לכם בין הקודש ובין קודש הקודשים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
No, you'd want to be in here. All right? Good. I like that answer. All right? Don't you get used to nature when you're in it? You're there a long time. You're there a long time. It really is something. Like, by the way, if you ever driven through like Texas or through like the northern states, you ever like where it's just flat? Right? You can see forever, right? Which is pretty amazing. And after a while you go, okay, I can see forever. Right? It's just flat. And it's so funny when people come to visit even the Southern California, the valley, and drive around, they go, oh my God, look at these mountains. They're so beautiful. Right? And we go like, the mountains? Right? Isn't it true? You're like, what mountain? We forget we're in a valley and there's mountains around. Occasionally you'll see snow on a mountain, right? And you'll go, ooh, now that's beautiful. Otherwise, and that's something we don't notice them at all. We just get used to nature, except for mountains, and unusually big mountains that symbolize a special relationship that you would have. Like that was something like Mount Sinai that you'd go like, ooh, now we're talking. Like now I'm inspired by that. So how do you get from their nature? Because, by the way, in the ancient world, they worshipped nature itself, right? Even the idols were about connected to different gods of different parts of nature, pantheism, others that worship nature itself. And so how do you, if you are now a monotheistic tradition like Judaism, even Christianity, how do you kind of get people away from that? You move them inside. Isn't that interesting? Take from the outside world and move them inside to divorce them from, if you will, perhaps those pagan roots that they have. And now, how do you inspire people? So now you understand Catholic cathedrals, because what inspired people, a sense of awe, was architecture. Right? Vaulted ceilings that seemed impossible. How are they up there? How do they stand? If you've been in those cathedrals, right, in Europe, don't you feel? And by the way, it was designed, they say, in terms of Catholic theology, to minimize, right, the humility of the human being and the greatness of God. That's really what it's supposed to be about. The higher the cathedral, right, the more you're supposed to feel as, insignificant, if you will, in relationship to God. But that's what they looked at architecture as we look at nature often, right? They were amazed by it. Right? Look at that. Oh my God, it's just beautiful. And many of you know, many of the cathedrals, they actually officially never end building. They just keep them going, right, for generations. Because, by the way, the worship of God is never finished as well, and the work that you have to do. Well, that ties us into the tabernacle. And what it was designed to, and how it's designed to inspire the Israelites. If you didn't take a look at it, you can flip back to page 1520 in the Eitz Chaim Chumash, and you're going to see there a picture, one depiction, if you will, of the tabernacle itself. There's a schemata map there at the top of that page, 1520. All right, just make sure I got the right page to you, 1520. And then the bottom half, kind of a depiction of what it might have looked like. And that Holy of Holies, by the way, was on the western side of the camp, as I mentioned earlier in the service. And when you came, and that's the altar in front that you would worship at, and the laver for cleaning. This doesn't have everything in it because there's also the right. You'll look inside, right, as the altar of altar. You like the inside, and then the Holy of Holies. And what were they supposed to think of when you walked and you in there and you saw it? The Holy of Holies in that inner tent was supposed to remind you of Mount Sinai. Somehow the cloud that covered it, you couldn't quite see God's presence, so you were supposed to be inspired by it. And then they have around there, we're going to read later on, descriptions of the material. And what did they use in the material around the outside? They call it, actually, miscalling it, they call it seal skins. Right, or something. If you read it, you're like, where'd they get seals in the middle of the desert? And apparently it's a different type of skin that they could have. But the question that's asked by the rabbis is, which way were the skins facing, inside or outside? Where was the beautiful part? Outside, so when you looked at it from the outside, you go, wow, that's a beautiful building? The rabbis say, no, it's on the inside. So that when you were in there, you were inspired. Right? That's what the experience was supposed to be about. And Sammy, you're talking about being inspired in a sanctuary, and it's because probably of the symbolism that the rabbis placed in here, right? A menorah that you have to have, and here's a creative rendition of menorah. A ner tamid, an eternal light. The ark itself, but not particularly Jewish. The Jewish experiences are always going to be a place that somehow inspire that connection and create a little bit different message about what those values are about. The instructions to build the tabernacle, we'll talk more about them in the coming weeks. We're going to continue with the second Aliyah, please, page 495. And Rick Schillender, you're coming up for an encore performance. Torah, if you've been honored with the second Aliyah, if you will come forward, please. Second Aliyah. Go, that's you, Chazan's side.
Ya'amod hachazan Mordechai ben Lazer ufegel sheni.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato.
Tamanora no hakashulchan al zela hamishkan temana v'hashulchan titain al zela safon ve'asita masak lapatak ha'ohel terchelet fargaman ve'hamish.
Bob, you're doing a also.
Ya'amod Baruch ben Chaim Shlomo Shlishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Amorach La'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten ha'torah. Amen. Ve'asita et hamizbeach atzei shitim 5 amot orech ו5 amot rochav rabua yihiyeh hamizbeach ב3 amot komato ve'asita karnotav al 4 pinotav mimenu tihiyena karnotav ve'tzipita oto nechoshech ve'asita sirotav ledashno ve'yav umizrikotav umizlegotav umachtotav lechol kelav ta'aseh nechoshech. Tet. It's a mouthful.
Surgery, you can walk again. All right. Yasher Koach. We continue with the fourth Aliyah, page 496, verse 4. Kaylee. Is Kaylee Romano reading the? No? Oh, it's David Bruskin.
Ya'amadu.
Okay.
Bat Sheva Bat Yaakov.
Oh, okay. Got it. Sorry. V'yasita lo mikbahar ma'aseh reshet nechoshet. V'yasita al hareshet. 4 tavaot nechoshet al 4 tzotav. V'natata at otaha tachat karkov hamizbeach milamata v'yita hareshet ad chatzi hamizbeach. V'yasita vadim lamizbeach badeh atzei shitim v'tzipita otam nechoshet v'huva et badav b'tabaot v'hayu habadim al shtei salot hamizbeach b'seidotoho nuvuv lucho taseh oto ka'asher hera'otcha v'har ken ya'asu.
Shabbat blessing. So if you'd like to bring to mind, whether it's for you, for a loved one, for anybody that you know, we offer them and offer you the healings, blessings of healing and strength.
Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We offer blessings of healing and strength for our lone child, Hughes, Sarah Bat Perel, Shmuel Aharon ben Hortense, Reuben ben Nil, Eliezer Hanoch ben Chaviva, Bert Hoffman, Jerry Klinetsky, Karen Nelson, as we continue with our prayers for all others who are in need of healing and strength and comfort.
Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Shehem esrim nechoshet vavi hamudim v'chashukehem kasef v'chein lifat safon va'orech klaim me'ah orech v'yamudah v'esrim v'nehem esrim nechoshet vavi hamudim v'chashukehem kasef v'rochav hechatzer lifat yaham Chaim Chamishim Ama Amudehem Asaraha Ama Amudehem Asaraha Vanehem Asaraha.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chaye olam notadu kokenu. Baruch Atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. We continue with the 6th Aliyah now, page 497, verse 13, chapter 27, verse 13. Now it's Kaylee coming up to read. And are you doing the Aliyah itself, or? Oh, great. Charles Mann, please.
Ya'amod Yechiel ben Shmuel ve'Esther Shihi. Baruch Adonai Barak. Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baharbanu mikol ha'obim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. V'rochav hechatzer lif'at kedma mizracha chamishim ama v'chamesh esrei ama klaim lakatev amudehem shlosha ve'adnehem shlosha ולכתף השנית 15 קלעים, עמודיהם 3 ועדניהם 3, ולשאר החצר מסך 20 אמה, תכלת וארגמן ותולת שני, ושש מוסר מעשר רוקם, ועמודיהם 4 ועדניהם 4.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata betokenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach to Charles, who's working towards his bar mitzvah, right? In a couple months, I think. And we're thrilled that he's able to be reading Torah and blessings. And just, it's amazing, Charles, really, how far you've been able to come and feel comfortable. We're going to continue with the 7th Aliyah, which you will find page 490.
Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Kol amudei hechatzer saviv mechushakim kasef ve'vaveim kasef ve'adnehem nechoshet. Orech hechatzer mea be'ama ve'rochav chamishim b'chamishim ve'koma chamesh amot v'shesh moshlar ve'adnehem nechoshet. V'chol klei hamishkan b'chol avodato l'chol yetirotav v'chol yitdot hechatzer nechoshet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. Hakba Glila, what do we, what?
Do we have? Ya'amod, hamagbiya ta'amod, hagolelet.
We rise for lifting of the Torah scroll.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
You may be seated. Going to, as our service has developed, this is a place that every week we try and do something a little bit different. Sometimes we do a teaching. Sometimes we'll even have a guest speaker. Sometimes we'll even do the Haftarah. Today we're going to do the Haftarah, so we're going to call Erwin up. You're going to be able to find the Haftarah on page 500 from the beginning section. And it tells the story of the building of of Shlomo, right, Erwin? Building the temple. And it opens up, I don't think, Erwin, you're doing these verses about about a covenant, right, about a peace treaty between Shlomo and Hiram, the king of Lebanon, of the north. And it's interesting, the rabbis point out that, first of all, that it describes Shlomo as being chacham, as having wisdom, and that they say it's Ralbag who says, here's a yad if you want. Who says that wisdom includes political insight, and that Shlomo had that. And by the way, peace isn't just always for the sake of peace. In fact, it seldom is, because we love the other people, we just want to have peace. It comes out of mutual need from the two parties, by the way, in peace treaties. The same thing here is that the wood, the cedars of Lebanon that Shlomo was going to use to build the temple, in exchange for that, in this treaty, that he would send up wheat, Judean wheat, and olive oil, and that was their kind of peace exchange, if you will. Interesting how it kind of mirrors some of the Abrahamic Accords in terms of, treaties that come out of kind of a mutual need, if you will, from one another of what we need. You don't have to love somebody to create a treaty even today. Sometimes you just have to find mutual needs that we can share together, and then maybe we can live side by side. It's an interesting connection with our portion. Erwin, we're going to do the beginning blessing and the concluding blessing together, right, as a congregation. So that's the way we do this now. So you're all welcome, as Erwin's going to do the first blessing at the beginning and then the concluding blessing at the end, if we did this right, and you'll join along with them. Go ahead, Erwin.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar Binvim tovim v'ratza b'divrehem hanemorim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'Nevi'ei hamet v'tzedek. Vayhi bishmonim shana v'arba me'ot shana. Let's say b'nei Israel meretz Mitzrayim b'shana harevit b'chodesh Zir hi hachodesh hasheni limloch shlomo al Yisrael vayiven habayit l'Adonai v'habayit asher bana hamelech shlomo l'Adonai shishim ama arko v'esrim richbo ushloshim ama komato v'ha'ulam al penei hecha habayit esrim ama orko al penei rechov habayit eser ba'ama rochbo al penei habayit vayas labayit halonye shekufim atumim vayiven al kir habayit yatzia zaviv et kirod habayit zaviv lehechal veladevir vayat selaot zaviv hayatzia hatech tona chamesh ba'amarofa v'hatichona shesh ba'amarofa v'hashlishit sheva ba'amarofa ki migraot natan lab Bayit Zaviv Chutza Levilti Achos Bikirot Habayit Vehabayit Behibanoto Even Shalema Maasa Nihivna Umakavod Vehagarzen Kol keli barzel lo nishma babayit behivanoto petach hatzela hatichona el ketef habayit hayemanit uvlulim ya'alu al hatichona umin hatichona el hashelishim vayiven et habayit vayechalehu vayispon et habayit gevim usderod ba'arazim vayiven et hayatzia al kol habayit chamesh amot komato ve'echos et habayit ba'atze arazim vayehi dvar Adonai el shalomo lemor habayit hazeh asher ata boneh Im telech bechukotai bet mishpatai ta'asem, v'shamarti et kol mitzvotai, lalechet bahem, v'hakimoti et devari itach, asher dibarti et David avicha, v'shachanti betoch b'nei Yisrael, lo ezov et am Yisrael. Last one. Al HaTorah ve'al havodah ve'al hanvim ve'al yom HaShabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha ve'limnucha lechavod ultifared al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach Umvarchim otach, yitbarach shimcha befi kochai tamid leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat.
Amen. Asher koach. We're going to continue with Ashrei, page 121. We're back in the Siddur, page 181 Ashrei.
Ashrei yoshvei beitecha od yahalelu chasela.
Ashrei am shekacha loho, Ashrei ham shadonai Eloham.
Tehillah l'Ravina Mekayla Yamel Vavarchashim Chala Olam Va'ed V'choyim.
Dor v'dor shalom v'sech v'tevi, dark but
Kevod Malchutecha Yameinu. Tehillat Adonai yiraber pi, vivarech kol basar shem kodsho leolam va'ed, va'anachnu nevarech ya, me'ata ve'ad olam, hallelujah.
we're going to return the Torah, the Seder Achnasat Torah. If you've been honored to open the ark, we call you forward. We rise together, please.
Va'asu li mikdash v'shachanti betocham va'anachnu nevarech ya me'ata ve'ad olam. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and ushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadish chadish yameinu chadish yameinu kekedem.
We're going to remain standing for the Musaf part of our service, which just means additional parts. So whether you want to follow the Amidah that begins page 185, you want a moment for your own personal prayers, whatever it is, you have a little bit of a musical accompaniment to set the mood for us. This is your moment of personal, private reflection.
עושה שלום במרומיו. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל שבטי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Hey, la 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 la.
Page 203, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויגדל שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועמד דברה חירותי והמלך מלכותי, וחייכון ומלכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לעלמי עלמיה, יתברך. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
In Kelohenu, page 204.
Whoa, 204. Hold on. Got to get there. All right.
Page 204. I don't want to deprive them of Ein Kelohenu. I don't want to go there today. All right.
Ein Kelohenu,
Ein Kadonai.
Wow, so thank you. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonai, Ein Kakenu, Ein Kamoshienu, Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonai, Ein Kamakenu, Ein Kamoshienu, Michelohenu, Michadonenu, Michemakenu, Michamoshienu, Ein
Eloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemakenu, Michamoshienu.
Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Makenu, Nodel Moshienu,
Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu.
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Makenu, Baruch Moshienu.
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu.
Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Atahu Shehiktiru Avotenu Lefanecha Ketoret Hasamim. Atahu Shehiktiru Avotenu Lefanecha Ketoret Hasamim. Hey, alai, la, 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 la. La 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 la. Hey, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. La 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 la.
We rise for Aleinu, page 205.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula le'otzer breshit, shelo asanu ki goyei haratzot, velo samanu כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו כהמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת. אין עוד, על כן נקבע לך לכן עולם המלכות שדי. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. At this time of memorial, we recall in reverence the yortzites of those who have been gathered unto our people. On this Shabbat, remember the yortzites of Mary Aronoff, Meroma Avashur, Jerome Bender, Kurt Bender, Jack Bilkes, Harry Braverman, Hilda Breslov, Leah Shiot, Seymour Copeland, Harleen Elkins, Dorothy Ehrman, Debbie Frank, Louis Freiheit, Abraham Gerber, Barry Gertler, Max Gitterman, Harry Goldenberg, Estelle Goldshine, Solomon Goldsmith, Claudia Grossman, Ann Gerner, Morris Halfon, Michael Holden, Samuel Eisen, Tom Kahane, Ernest Klein, Stephen Klinetsky, Josephine Landau, Eva Langsam, Phyllis Licht, Stuart Life, Selma Lubin, Yolanda Marai, Rose Miller, Florence Mond, Miriam Mish, Donald Nadler, Stanley Nevitt, Irene Albright, Ruth Padua, Ray Peck, Faringus Razbania, Zuleme Resnick, Claire Ryman, Dorothy Rose, Valerie Rosenbaum, Peter Rosenbaum, Leroy Ross, Lou Ross, Sidney Rosansky, Sidney Siegel, Stephanie Diane Sesser, Sidney Shadovitz, Sarah Sklar, Elaine Spiegel, Jerry Sucher, Doris Tabashnik, Zella Waldman, Sam Weiler, Teddy Weiss, Lou Zeneman, and Sanford Zinn. We're also mindful and saddened by the recent passing of Michael Bernstein, father of Randy and Karen Bernstein. For those reciting Mourner's Kaddish, we invite you to rise here in the sanctuary, page 207. If you're at home and reciting Kaddish, we invite you to rise as well. We'll be your sacred community with you, your minyan, to recite these words of sanctification, of memory, of life. Those reciting the Mourner's Kaddish join together. Yit Gadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Amen. V'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael v'galav v'zman kariv v'meru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'pa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha Brichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Damiran Bialma Vimeru Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. L'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Israel. Meru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Hu Yaseh Shalom. Aleinu V'al Kol Israel. V'meru Amen. May God establish his peace in the heavens, grant peace and harmony for us, for all of Israel, and all of humanity. As we say, Amen. You may be seated. My pleasure to call forward Debbie Strom, our president, is going to share with us some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. And welcome to everyone who's joined us here today in the sanctuary and on our live stream. This afternoon at our 4:45 Mincha service, celebrate the bar mitzvah of Adam Singer at our Mincha service. Beginning this Thursday evening at 6 p.m., our rabbinic intern Evan Sussman will be teaching a 3-part series on the fantastic Jewish world of mystical creatures and where to find them. And then at 7:30, Jan Elbaum will teach a class on Jews and sports. Both of these will be on Zoom, so please register on our website to receive the Zoom link and the passcodes. Finally, this coming week, we're so excited to welcome Rabbi Jenny Greenspan, who will be visiting us as we continue our search for our next second rabbi. There will be many opportunities to meet, study with, and learn from Rabbi Greenspan, either virtually or in person, and that'll be from Wednesday evening through next Sunday morning. The full schedule with details and RSVP links will be emailed to you and posted on our website in the next few days. In this 60th year of Aliyah, thank you for being a part of our story, and thank you for making Aliyah a part of yours. Oh, and finally, one more thing for those of us who have joined us here in the sanctuary. Kiddush lunch this afternoon will be outside in the sukkah area. Shabbat Shalom.
All right, we're going to continue now with the Shamru, Kiddush, and Motzi. We rise together, please.
Shamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom asot et haShabbat ledorotam.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. started playing?
No, I liked your playing. I didn't want to follow your
Oh, I'm
playing
just
when I
fooling,
pulled this out.
just fooling around.
I know, it's nice.
I'm here at 4 o'clock doing rehearsal and walkthrough with them. I'm here at 4 o'clock with a rehearsal and walkthrough with them.
That's perfect. I'll
right.
be here before 4,
Okay.
and I'll just make sure that's all done, and then
Okay.
we'll go back to bed.
Thank you.
Mister, I mean,
Yeah.
Hassan.
Yes.
Hassan, Mr. Mike Stein.
Yeah, yeah.
Meet this week
Yes.
with life control.
Yes, I want to
and
try to
get
do
mixer
that, yes.
So that the sound,
Okay.
get the sound right.
Yeah, I just using my guitar through this little speaker here. It's not even in the system.
It's still not loud. Yeah, so that's not working.
Yeah.
So
No, it's too loud on live stream.
it is, yes.
So no matter what I do, so I don't want it in the live stream. So it's not plugged in at all. It's not plugged in at all.
The mix is so off balance.
Yeah.
So,
Is it?
and we can fix it just by getting a little mixer
For the live stream.
for live stream,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
So you just let me know by.
I'll arrange it whenever we can. It'll be by Zoom probably.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect, whatever we need to do.
And we also need to get the sound system ready for, like when we have an every third Shabbat or something like that. We're still just,
We don't have enough mics, we don't have enough, it's not, they're not patched well.
everything's just messed up.
Everything's off.
Everything's off. And I wonder if we need to find somebody else other than Manuel.
Okay,
I like.
let's bring him in,
Okay.
and,
Yeah. That's
the only
perfect.
thing is, it really needs to be like on a third Friday, because he really needs to hear what's wrong.
Okay.
Well, unless it's fix the sound here, and then he will play control and mixer. Or actually, how is that, and just tell us what mixer was?
Yeah, but I guess, I think we should get in touch with Live Control. Is that?
They're